Good morning, children. We've been looking into the chapter of lifelines of national economy, and we've here seen certain industries which happen to be the imperative, the most important, the most fundamental, the most rudimentary industries for any society, for any economy, whether a prosperous one or to want to be a prosperous one. And today we look into We've already covered airlines, railways, roads, waterways. Today we look into communication. Okay, ever since humans appeared on Earth, they have used different means of communication. But the pace of change has been rapid in modern times. Long distance communication is far easier without physical movement of the communicator or receiver. Personal communication and mass communication, including television, radio, press, film, etc., are the major means of communication in the country. The Indian Postal Network is the largest in the world. It handles parcels as well as personal written communications. Cards and envelopes are considered first class mail and are airlifted between stations covering both land and air. Students, you have to understand essentially what it is trying to tell you is about how the method of communication, the mode of communication has been changing over centuries and thousands of years. We all have seen how first we started sending letters through pigeons, and then there were soldiers who used to, if the army if the enemy army was approaching them, then they used to wave certain flags, or with certain kind of smoke they used to warn their own checkposts closer to the closer to the capital, that yes, the enemy was approaching. And there were different means of communication, methods of communication, unlike today, where just by a click of a button or in microseconds you can communicate your message from India to United States, or from someone, your relative or your friend can send you a photograph from Sweden to India and it would reach you in 1 second. So of course this is how far we have come, and we all know that it is not going to stop here. We would be further expanding our horizons, and things would be getting more and more sophisticated. So that is, let's see how far it goes. Then they are carried by surface mail covering, and of course we know that because India, in a country like India, we still like to write letters. Maybe you and I, we don't write letters, but millions of Indians, crores of Indians still do that. And for example, now we are approaching the festival of Rakhi. Now all of them, all the sisters and their brothers Rakis through these postal services. They do write letters, and they do not just send a Raki, they write letters. So, in India, letters, of course, people write it. It is very important for official documents. If you once you start competing for the competitive examinations, all of that would have to be sent through the postal department. Your demand draft, whatever, the check, everything has to be done through the postal department. So in a country like India, it is still very important, and that's the reason we have the maximum number of people employed in this industry here, in terms of, when it comes to the postal industry around the world. In terms of comparison, India has one of the largest telecom networks in Asia. But of course, now from communication, from letter writing to, we also have now you and I, even our maidservants and our servants and drivers, all of them have their smartphones, or at least a telephone, from which and through which they communicate with everyone. Even they cannot afford themselves to remain away from the mainstream society. India has, excluding urban places, more than two-thirds of villages in India have already been covered with the subscriber STD telephone facility. Students, this is in order to strengthen the flow of information from the grassroots to the higher level. The government has made special provision. This is a very old version of the book, student. Even in the rural part of the country, everyone has a mobile telephone. There are all mobile telephone towers all across the villages. Even whether you go to, forget about the villages of Bihar and Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand, even if you go to the outskirts areas of even Ladakh for that matter, even Arunachal Pradesh, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Tripura, you would find mobile towers everywhere, every village, even so-called poor villages in Orissa, you would see everyone using mobile phones. Now, government doing STD phones, this is old news. This is talking about a time which was there in late 90s. This is about the world that they are talking about, which used to exist during late 90s. So, almost 20 years ago, this they are talking about a world which existed 20 years ago, not now. Today, even in the poorest of the countries around the world, they have mobile phone services from which you can make, forget about an STD call, but you can make an ISD call within a second, and whether it is in New Zealand or whether it is in Dubai. So mass communication provides entertainment and creates awareness among people about various national programs and policies. It includes uh, radio, television, newspapers, books, and films. All India Radio, that is Akashvani, broadcasts a variety of programs in national, regional, and local languages for various categories of people. See, students, this is again talking about the Akashvani period, which when Akashvani, that is the government of India, that is All India Radio, used to have the monopoly of the radio waves. Again, it is talking about a period or India which existed during the 90s. Today, you have FM channels and hundreds of FM channels are scattered across the country, broadcasting in different languages and in different states. So now, people do not depend only on the Akashvani to give them news or to air them and play them songs. Okay. So India publishes a large number of newspapers and periodicals annually. Yes, that is true. They are of different types depending upon their periodicity. Newspapers are published in about 100 languages and dialects. Did you know that the largest number of newspapers published in the country are in Hindi, followed by English and Urdu? India is the largest producer of feature film in the world. That is true, and it remains true even now, irrespective of whatever might be the number of films that is being produced. The Central Board of Film Certification is the authority to certify both Indian and foreign films. So, students, coming to newspapers, what is very interesting about newspapers is internationally, the circulation of newspaper has been falling because of the digitization of news, and you get to see everything today is breaking news. On the news channels would show you the live telecast of most of the events, anyways. So by the time you receive the newspaper next morning, all the news is stale news, पुराना हो चुका होता है. But then Indians have, and that is the reason why internationally newspaper business is not considered a profitable business anymore. And that is the reason why even the newspaper companies, they spend a huge amount of money and their resources on their online platform. Of course, the paper platform remains there because that's what has given them identity. But the fact of the matter remains is that yes, their online platforms are far more active today than the newspaper platforms. And the newspaper, the patrons of newspaper industry have been falling steadily across the world. Whether you talk about the American newspapers, whether you talk about the newspapers in Europe, in Australia, anywhere. But it's only in India, very interestingly, the newspaper circulations have been going up and up and up. Newspapers in India do very profitable business. Okay, because Indians can't do without business newspapers. You can see in your own homes where your dad would be probably asking 3 or 4 times in the morning, newspaper aaya ki nahi. Your mother would be probably asking 3 or 4 times in the morning, a newspaper aaya ki nahi, or your granddad would be asking for it. So we can't do without newspaper, in spite of knowing completely about at least about the 60 to 70% of the news advertisement that would be printed in the newspaper, right? We have already watched it on television a day before, but then we still have a fascination for newspaper, and that is the reason why newspaper industry happens to be a very vibrant industry in India, and in all the languages for that matter. Whether you go to northeastern part of the country, where most of the newspapers are printed in English, okay, and whether you go to Bengal, which would be in Bengali, the major ones like say Anand Bazar Patrika or Vartaman, all of them are printed in Bengali, and they have a huge circulation. So India is unique in this respect. Coming to international trade, the exchange of goods among people, states, and countries is referred to as trade. The market is the place where such exchanges take place. Trade between two countries is called international trade. It may take place through sea, air, or land routes. While local trade is carried in cities, towns, and villages, state level trade is carried between two or more states. Advancements of international trade of a country is an index to its economic prosperity. It is therefore considered the economic barometer for a country. So naturally, students, if this is something which we covered in the previous chapter as well, if you manufacture something, it has to be consumed as well. Otherwise, all the manufacturing goes to waste. You would not be able to sustain this adventurism that you keep manufacturing and no one is consuming. It would be economically extremely loss-making enterprise, and you would have to shut down your shop. Okay, so international trade, and that is what international trade, the pillar of international trade is: you produce something, I consume something. Okay, you know how to make something good, I know how to make something good. Okay, so for example, Japan would be making fancy cars, good cars. Germany would be making is they are good in car making, they are good in mechanics, they are good in automobile industry. I am good in probably carpet industry. I am good in textile. I am good in certain other areas which you are not good at. And that is what you have something that I want. I have something that you want. And that is what is the basic premise, the basic reason, the basic formula for international trade or any kind of trade for that matter. And that has been the same for thousands of years, that you have something I want, I have something that you want. And that is how trade used to be conducted even during the Roman times or Egyptian times. That is about 5,000 years ago. Okay, so as the resources are space bound, no country can survive without international trade. Export and import are the components of trade. The balance of trade of a country is the difference between its export and import. When the value of export increases the value of imports, it is called favorable balance of trade. On the contrary, if the value of import exceeds the value of export, it is termed as unfavorable balance of trade. Guys, it is simple. Basically, what it is saying is, jab aap, if you sell more, okay, when you sell more and import less, that is a good situation. यानी कि आप बेचते ज़्यादा हैं, खरीदते कम हैं, तो ये आपके लिए बेहतर स्थिति है. ओके, एंड इफ यू इंपोर्ट मोर, आप खरीदते ज़्यादा हैं, बेचते कम हैं, it is very obvious that you are incurring losses here. आप पैसे नहीं बना रहे, आप खरीद ज़्यादा रहे हैं, यानी क्या, यू आर स्पेंडिंग मोर, एंड बेच कम रहे हैं, यानी क्या, आप बेच रहे हैं, जो 4 पैसे आ रहे वो कम हैं जो कि आपने 40 पैसे खर्च किए हैं to purchase something. And that's what it is saying here, that every country, every society wants to ensure that it sells more, buys less, and only then it is a favorable condition or a balance of trade for any country. Okay, a country which buys more, sells less, is incurring losses. Simple. We shall continue. Thank you.